So, hey, everybody. So, I'm Robin Devine with Lymph Balance Center. Most of you have either met me or are going to meet me, I guess. But I am excited because I want to introduce everybody to Greg Gurman, and he's with LifeCraft out in Cochrane, Alberta. But the reason why is because one of the biggest things that we're seeing these days with clients, specifically at the Lymph Balance Center, are a lot of physical ailments, concerns, issues that are coming up, and it's becoming more and more obvious that there's a very strong emotional root. There's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of stress, anxiety, depression that has come stronger even more from the last couple of years. And at our clinic, we do heart-centered therapy, we do dialogue therapy, but a lot of things are just way past what we're able to engage with while somebody is mentally sort of blocking themselves from going to that point. And I had the great pleasure of meeting Greg a couple months ago. And I just really love his approach. I love his business approach. I love just everything that he sort of put together. And I really do have a very strong feeling of connection, not only for our businesses, but also for how we help clients. So I really just want you guys to hear it directly from Greg, because I can talk lymph, and I do, and I think we all know that. But Greg is going to tell you all about clinical hypnotherapy and what he does. So I'm going to pass it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Robin. Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. And one of the things you learn about LifeCraft is we're very much in surrender. We surrender to the opportunities that the universe brings us to serve and to bring healing. And meeting you is, like so many things that we experience in surrender, was just perfect. The work that you're doing is at a deep level very much aligned with what we're doing, and so I'm really thrilled to be here with you today, and thrilled for the collaborative opportunities that we have. So maybe I'll start, Robin, by talking about LifeCraft in general, and then we'll speak specifically about hypnotherapy. So I founded LifeCraft from a belief that we are all these beautifully unique beings. We as human beings are tremendously unique, and we all have a unique collection of gifts and skills and passions and interests and experience. And at the intersection of all of these is purpose. We're really big on purpose at LifeCraft, and we believe that as human beings, when we take the time to become intimate with purpose in our lives, and we build our lives in ways that allow us to express purpose, move energy through purpose, especially in service of others, we gain access to the highest levels of meaning and fulfillment available to us as human beings. And so we believe that a life and purpose is the highest calling for all of us, and it's a joy and a freedom and a power that's available to us all. And we also believe that when you live your life in purpose, you manifest the most abundance too. So it's really a win-win-win, right? It's the best for us, it's the best way to contribute and serve to the community, and best for everybody. And so in everything that we do at LifeCraft, whether it's our clinical hypnotherapy or our purpose coaching programs, our retreats, public speaking, and any of the things that we're doing at LifeCraft, with all of it, we are leading people to a more intimate understanding of their own purpose in this life, and then supporting them in building their life in expression of that. So let's talk about hypnotherapy specifically. Hypnotherapy is a tool that we use for adjusting our unconscious beliefs. Now, we as adults, we tend to think we have a ton of autonomy in our lives, right? We tend to feel very free and have like we have a lot of choice. And the tough truth is that that's mostly an illusion. Our unconscious mind determines almost all of our behavior. It determines the way we assign meaning to things in our life. It determines the way we experience ourselves in our world. And it does this, unconsciously, which is below the level of consciousness. And this means that before we do or say or think something, our unconscious mind has already decided that we're going to do or say or think that. And typically our conscious mind then just justifies, I did that because of this, right? But the truth is that there's an unconscious belief that drove that. Now, our unconscious mind has only one job, and that is to keep you safe. That is all. And so at any point in our life, when we experience fear or trauma, or we feel unseen or not enough, anytime we're experiencing a negative emotion, our unconscious mind jumps into action, and it starts scanning the environment, scanning, what's the cause? What's the cause? What's the cause? And when it finds what it thinks is the cause, it goes, this. I will never let this happen again. And it forms a belief that it thinks will keep you safe from that ever again. It will never let that happen again. And so as we go through life, our constellation of unconscious beliefs gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and our behavior is compelled in more and more complex ways. Yeah. Or another way of seeing that is that we tend to have less and less direct control over what we do the older we get and the more trauma we've experienced in our lives. And so unconscious beliefs cannot be changed consciously. The conscious mind and the unconscious mind don't communicate like that. And so if you have an unconscious belief that's driving a behavior that is taking you out of alignment in your life, if you feel called into purpose, if you feel called to get a new habit in your life, if you feel called to release an old habit, take your life in a new direction, experience a new level of flow, a new level of freedom, if you want to get free of any self-limitation, any negative self-talk, if you want to get free of anything like that, but you've been unable to do it, it's because your unconscious mind believes that that is safe for you. Right? And there are many complex ways that can be true. It doesn't make sense at the surface. Like, why would my unconscious mind think that keeping me small would be safe? But there are ways that that's true. And no matter how hard you try, no matter how you lay perfect plans, no matter how much you pay your coach, you cannot change those unconscious beliefs consciously. Yeah, it just can't be done. And this is why in the clinic we see all the time, we see people who are worth $40 million, but they're convinced that they are not a success. They're a complete failure. They're worthless. We see people who are, I just had a woman in the clinic, like just a beautiful soul. And she was almost 6 feet tall and about 100 pounds. And she was absolutely convinced that she was enormous, and that she shouldn't eat anything. Right. And so the point is, our unconscious beliefs are not formed consciously, and they're not changed consciously. No evidence in the world can change our unconscious beliefs. They can only be changed in these trance states. And when we experience trauma, that is a state of trance. Our conscious mind checks out, we enter trance, and that's how unconscious beliefs are formed. Those unconscious beliefs can only be changed in trance, which means in trauma or in hypnotherapy. That's the safe, gentle pathway into the trance state where we can gain access to these unconscious beliefs. And so what we do in hypnotherapy is we enter a state of trance. We bring a client down into this beautiful, natural state of trance, and it's available to everybody. We've never failed to bring someone into hypnosis because it's such a natural state. Most people don't know this, but you go into hypnosis every 90 minutes throughout the day and night. Every 90 minutes, it's just for a flash of a second, right? But your brain is constantly cycling through these different brainwave states. And in a session, we just bring you there with intention, and we hold you there longer. And in that state of trance, we gain access to all of your unconscious mind, and your unconscious mind is incredible. It's limitless. It knows every single thing that's ever happened to you, every belief you hold and why. And we can ask your unconscious mind to show us the root of this belief or this behavior, and it will show you scenes from where that originated. And then we get to see with tremendous compassion, wow, anyone who went through that experience could come away with that belief. And we can see so clearly how your unconscious mind thought that belief was going to keep you safe, but really it's keeping you unsafe, right? Our unconscious mind is a very simple piece of equipment, and it takes on beliefs in error all the time. And we as human beings, we are these incredibly complex and beautiful creatures with this calling. We all feel this calling into purpose, into expressing who we are. And often our unconscious mind develops beliefs that some piece of that is unsafe for us. And so as we lean into this call for more in our life, we feel held back, pulled back by all of these beliefs that are not true. Right? These are beliefs that think it's unsafe for us to be our fullest self. And of course, that is not true. And so in hypnotherapy, when we identify the root of those beliefs, we help your unconscious mind see right there in the moment that that belief is not true. Your unconscious mind is not loyal to any belief. It's only loyal to you. And when we show it in therapy that these things it's been driving are not safe for you, it lets go of those right away. And now it's hungry to know, so how do I keep this person safe? And we tell it, right? At the beginning of the session, you'll have told me the way you want to experience yourself, the way you want to experience your world, the things you want to be able to lean into, right? And we tell your unconscious mind that you are safest when you have full access to all of your gifts, when you are free, right? When you are deeply connected to the truth that you are enough, and you're able to take calculated risks in your life, always pay off because you're so free. You have full access to all of your strengths and your knowledge and your intelligence. Yeah. Does that make sense so far?
It totally makes sense. And it's funny because it's true. It's a lot of really deep rooted foundational beliefs that just keep people cycling in similar patterns for their entire life. And I'll say too, is that I had the pleasure of coming and having a session with you as well. And I've tried clinical hypnotherapy, I've tried regression therapy, I've tried all that kind of stuff. And I've never, ever felt like I was able to actually be put into that state of relaxation and trance and hypnosis, etc. And it was the first time ever. And the other beautiful piece is, and I hope you'll talk a little bit about it too, is that you create this recording that you're able to listen to later, which puts you back into that sense of hypnosis and revisits sort of, the parts of what happened during your session and how you can keep moving forward. And I literally have never had such amazing sleeps. I've struggled with sleeping my entire life. And I'm like, I really just need to sleep quick, get my recording out. I got to make sure I listen to this. And I just have the most amazing, and it just feels like everything is just right. And it's just, that one thing that just kept probably egging at me for years and years and years. Right. So it makes so much sense. And as a therapist, it's something that we just see where, we can do treatments over and over and over and over again. And just like you think, it should just be able to start, like, why isn't it holding? What's going on? And there's that mind, subconscious held pattern, right? So it totally makes sense.
Yeah. And, Robin, you deserve all the credit for that. We tell people all the time that hypnotherapy, like so many things, is effective to the degree to which you lean in, right? And you did such a beautiful job just surrendering and leaning in and listening to as I was speaking, and you just allowed yourself to go there, and you found this beautiful place of safety where your unconscious mind is suggestible, it's open to change, and we were able to align some things for you. And so
it was so much easier than I thought it was going to be, though, Greg. Seriously. So you did that too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, one of our favorite reframes in our clinic, people come in, and when you've been trying to do something in your life for a long time and you've been unable to do it, the self-talk tends to be, I'm just not strong enough, or this is just not available to me, I'll never be able to do it. And we like to reframe that right away. This is one of our favorite things. The truth is not that you're not strong enough, it's that you're too strong, right? Your unconscious mind is a superhero in your life. No human being has ever defied their unconscious mind for any length of time. The unconscious mind is the basis of your cognition. And so you can't formulate a thought, let alone take an action that is completely out of alignment with what your unconscious mind thinks is safety and truth for you, right? And so we love reframing that for people, and we love showing them that you can arrange the power of your unconscious mind in the direction you're feeling called in your life. And now when you wake up in the morning, the things you need to do to be your fullest self are the things you're naturally compelled to do. And the river of life is just moving you in this direction of flow. Life is so easy all the time. And specifically to people, like when I get a chance to collaborate with powerful healers like yourself, I love for people to know that, as you said, there's sometimes a psychosomatic cause to things going on in the body, right? Certainly some things in the body are caused by this accident or some other physical, tangible thing, but very often those things are manifested from psychological things, from stress, from imbalances in our energy. And in any of those cases, the unconscious mind is a beautiful, powerful tool. In trance, we can ask it very specific questions. Show us the reason, the cause, the root of this, and it will just show us. It will show us the belief or the experience, the trauma, the whatever, the memory that's being held there that is manifesting something. And as someone who puts healing hands on people every day, you inevitably come across people who, at the end of a session, things are moving, their lymph is flowing, everything feels great. But then weeks down the road, they might have regressed back to where they were, and your powerful healing work keeps resetting them, but there's a piece inside of them that might be re-manifesting, right? Recreating that reality. And so together we can bring a new level, a whole new paradigm of healing. Your body, anyone's body, is a beautiful instrument of healing and balance, right? And the most powerful thing we can do for healing is just to get out of the way, right? To allow balance to be and allow things to move and flow. And unconscious beliefs, any unconscious belief that is something like you don't deserve it, or you need to hold on to this trauma to pay the price for a mistake you made, any things like this. Those are thoughts that are not real. The unconscious mind often holds on to trauma way longer than there could be any benefit, because it believes that it needs to keep suffering, and that's the only way to get free. But the truth is that's only taking you further and further into suffering and making your behavior more likely to create more situations where you then think you need to suffer even more, right? So it's this dirty cycle. And together we can set people free from that. That healing, that your body's natural ability to heal is your birthright. And in hypnotherapy, we not only get to set you free from the things that are standing in the way of your fullest health, but we get to help your soul incorporate the lessons that were meant for you in this thing that you're bumping up against. And now you get to move forward, vibrating more freely. You've taken another step on your staircase to your fullest human experience. Like, be fully human. That's our thing, right? We really are big on leading people to their fullest human experience. Yeah.
Well, and I know for those of us who work with the lymphatic system on a regular basis, we always say there's, it's the fluid that's moving through your body, but things that have been settled in there for a long time are sort of sitting on the bottom of the creeks and the rivers. And as we go and do lymphatic work, we're kind of churning that up. So there is so many emotions and traumas and storylines that come up with clients that, we walk through them and so on. But if there is that deep-seated belief that can't be changed, or this is how it has to be, we can talk about it all we want, right? But if you don't change that deep-rooted belief that your body has believed has been what's been keeping you safe this entire time, I can help the lymph as much as I want, but you're a full person, right? It's not just the one piece. And so that's where, collaborative clinics, collaborative therapists are so imperative when it comes to trying to create that full body health and wellness, right? So, so can you explain a little bit about when somebody books a consult and how a session works and everything that's involved in having a session with you?
You bet I can, Rob. Yeah. So the first step is a free consultation. So it's a 20 to 30 minute Zoom consultation. And here I explain all about our unique LifeCraft hypnotherapy process. Our hypnotherapy process is quite unique in the world. It's something that we've developed over, we're over 6,500 clinical hours now. And I'm a licensed certified clinical hypnotherapist. And as well, I'm a master's level in neurolinguistic programming, and I'm a Reiki master as well, and I have several coaching certifications, and I have special training in trauma and polyvagal theory. And all of these things have been incorporated into a really, really punchy, powerful session. And so the consult comes first, and that's where I explain that whole system to you. And then I answer any questions you may have. And then I turn it over and I want to find out what's been going on for you. What's front of mind, what's front of heart for you. And then I can tell you how I can help you. And then from there, if you feel called to move forward, I send you a scheduling link that allows you to schedule yourself into the clinic. And so we have a clinic in Cochrane. And I also have special training to do clinical hypnotherapy over Zoom. And so that's another option for people who don't want to travel to Cochrane. We can do it over Zoom. So your session is 2 hours long. The beginning is an intake where I'm going to find out a little bit more about you. And I'm going to be pulling things that I need to build a really, really powerful script install that we're going to bring in suggestive form into your unconscious mind at the end of the session. And so the intake comes first, and then you're going to be in trance for anywhere between 45 and 75 minutes, depending on the depth of what we're looking at and the number of scenes your unconscious mind wants us to see. And then at the end is what's called a conscious review. When you come out from a LifeCraft hypnotherapy session, your unconscious beliefs, which are the filters through which you see and experience everything, they have changed. And so you're coming back to the same body in the same room, of course, but things just feel a little bit different and things just seem a little bit different. And so we have a way of helping you integrate and helping you come back into your life, seeing things with a new lease, right? Completely new lease. And I love watching clients walk past the mirror as they leave my office, because there's always a little bit more joy and freedom and just depth in them, afterwards, because they're more connected to the truth, which is that you are limitless. You're perfect and beautiful and amazing. And our world leads us away from that sometimes. And so I just love being able to connect people with that. So the conscious review is at the end of the session. And then after your session, you're going to get a few things from me. You're going to get a clinical chart. This is clinical hypnotherapy. And so I build out a very detailed clinical chart that walks through all the scenes your unconscious mind showed us, all the beliefs we uncovered, the ways that we reframed and released those beliefs, and then any energetic releases that we facilitated. Oftentimes underneath self-limiting beliefs, we collect anger, resentment, powerlessness, rage, right? And so after we dissolve those beliefs in the session, we cleanse away, we clean away any sticky density, darkness, any emotions that have inertia, that have served their purpose, they're ready to go, they want to go, but they're stuck. So we clean all that out. And then at the end of the session, and the last piece of the clinical chart is all the new beliefs we install, all the vivid visualizations. I lead your unconscious mind through living your life in a way that feels so natural, so familiar for you, so empowered, so safe. Yeah. So you're going to get your clinical chart, and then you're also going to get 2 audio recordings. One is your full session audio. So we record the whole thing and we give that to clients, and clients find that to be very interesting. Some of the therapeutics will have us moving your consciousness into someone else and seeing things from their perspective. And when that happens, your voice will change. And so that's fun for clients to listen to. And then the piece that is part of our unique system, and that's your custom hypnotherapeutic audio. So we make a custom audio track for every client. And the first 5 minutes of that is an induction. So we reinduce you into hypnosis. This is all custom for you. This is not cookie cutter. It's going to have your name in it, and we're going to be injecting little pieces into your induction that are unique to you. And then the back piece of that recording, the last 10 to 15 minutes is us affirming all these new beliefs that we've installed. And again, leading you through visualizations of you living your life as a more full human being, more healed, more safe, on the path to healing, on the path to fullness. And we ask the clients listen to that for 21 days every day. The work that we do in the session is permanent. That I was speaking earlier about how the unconscious beliefs, they will not change consciously. They're extremely stubborn. And we use that to our advantage, because when we change your unconscious beliefs in the session and you come back into conscious life, they're also stubborn. And so those beliefs, that work that we do in the session is permanent forever. Those beliefs will never change back unless you have another really traumatic experience or another hypnotherapy session that can bend them back. So your beliefs are permanent. The work that we do in the session is permanent and it stands alone. But this recording is just an extra little bump. It's a nice way to remind the conscious mind and just keep that unconscious mind in alignment for those first 21 days while these new habits that you formed are becoming familiar. And while your new way of seeing yourself in your world is becoming familiar, that track really helps you stay in the pocket, right on the bullseye. So that's the full session package. Yeah.
It's crazy. And like I said, it's, for myself, at least, it made such a huge difference. And it's just been quite amazing that it is true. It's something that you just have always firmly believed. And there was nothing, externally, there was nothing that I ever felt that was really bad about that belief. But looking on it now and being able to feel how it feels without that being something dragging you down all the time is such a really refreshing. I sleep better. I just feel like I live better, and I love that. So no, and it's nice to be able to understand how your body does that, because it's true. It's just trying to protect you. It's just trying to keep you safe. And, if your body wants you to be as happy and successful as long as you're safe, as long as things are safe. Right. So yeah, I love, you explain it so well. It's like you do this for a living or something. I don't know, but no, you explain it so well. So I appreciate that. And, I know that we're excited that you're going to come out to the clinic and spend a day, and hopefully it doesn't just happen the once. So, I want to make sure that, because it's very different compared to what we normally offer at the clinic on a regular basis. So I'm really glad that we had the time to delve a little bit into it, to explain a little bit more. So, especially when I'm able to explain it to clients, that I say, you know what? I'm obviously not that great at explaining it. Let me just send you to this cute little chat that I had with Greg, and you can hear it directly from the man, because it's so much easier.
Love it. Yeah. I have to say before we go that I'm just so grateful that I got to work with you, and I'm always humbled by opportunities that I'm given to work with people like you who are at a cross section of so many people on a healing journey, and being able to connect you with how powerful you are on your own journey in your business and in your life means that all the people that you serve are going to get a little bit more, right? And
it's a collaboration. It's how it should be.
So grateful. Yeah. So I love sharing this work with people, in the hypnotherapy consult. the first step to coming into our clinic, that is truly a zero pressure, no strings attached whatsoever. That's just an opportunity for me to share this work. And if it resonates with people, then they're going to be given a chance to lean in if they want to. You know, everybody thinks that their modality is so powerful, and everybody thinks probably the same thing I do, but I think hypnotherapy should be way more popular than it is, because we all have this incredible power inside of us to be our fullest self and to be so free and manifest incredible things. And
It'll get there.
not taught that, right? So yeah.
It'll get there. It's, you know, I always laugh because when I look at, you know, people go, oh, well, you know, whatever society or insurance companies or whatever think is the most important, that's what's in their plans. And I'll tell you that, you know, to me, massage therapy has been life-changing, and it only really started showing up in benefit packages in like the 90s. And, you know, it's on its road. And lymphatic the same, right? It's, you know, we get called magical, sort of weird woo-woo kind of things, and I don't care, because it works, and it's such a life game-changing kind of thing. So I think everybody just is getting to that point of being open and aware that conventional things doesn't mean it's the only, and that things are meant to grow and develop and change in awareness. And so, yeah. But I'll make sure that in touch with this too, I'll make sure that whether it's in the comments or if it's in the description or wherever, that we have the link for people to be able to, you know, come and do a little consult with you and see, because you don't really know until you know, right? So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm humbled and grateful to be here. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you so much, Greg.